Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the actionable podcast. Today, I'm so happy to bring you an amazing guest, one of my personal friends and colleagues as well. His name is Harol Alviar, and he's an amazing email retention specialist and life cycle marketing specialist with over 5 years of experience and proven track record. And I know firsthand how amazing he is at what he does. And that's what I brought him here because if we want to learn everything about email, deliverability, anything, if you have a business, you're a coach, or you work with DTC, e-commerce, anything, he's your guy.
Welcome to the Actionable podcast. I'm Mechi, and here we'll talk about business, freelance, mindset, education, and everything to help you overcome your fears, know yourself, and create the life and career of your dreams. Episodes in English and Spanish every week.
First of all, Harol, thank you for coming to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hi, Mechi. How are you doing? We have been planning this for a long time, and it finally became true. Literally. After so many things that happened for both of us, but we are here, and I'm so happy to be invited to this podcast. So, hi, everybody. Well, do you want me to present myself right away?
Yes, if you can do it real quick, and also if you can tell people who probably never heard of the term life cycle marketing, if you can also explain what you do, that would be amazing.
Definitely. Well, if you say I have 5 years of experience, which for me is unbelievable. Like for me, I started yesterday working, but in reality, it's not.
Time flies.
A life cycle marketing. Yeah, time flies. A life cycle marketing strategist really much is someone who is in charge of building the customer journey for everything related to email and SMS marketing, pretty much everything. Like, the cycle starts with paid media, with the ads you're sending into your webpage. But once you get the traffic, the life cycle marketing strategist is the one in charge of building the entire traffic from the pop-up to how everything is going to go. From the welcome series, if they don't purchase the cart abandonment. So what I do, it's create the multi-channel strategy or the focus-based strategy for different channels, in which I send people to every single journey to make them into lead customer and customer to loyal customer. So I built all this entire thing. Like when you go from the welcome series to a cart abandonment, from a cart abandonment you made a purchase to a post purchase, then to post delivery, and all this type of automations that you may get, I am the one building them behind the strategy behind how they are going to work. And like how often you need to get this amount of emails and for campaigns, when do you need to start receiving campaigns, and what type of campaigns you're going to receive after that.
That's great. And something that I wanted to ask you, and by the way, I need to say this, he's the powerhouse behind many big brands, Deliverability, so you should know that. So everything you're going to learn today, I think this is a podcast where you come with paper and pen because you're going to take down notes. I'm short of it. I feel like you're going to leave us with so many golden nuggets. So I'm really happy to have you here again. But now that you talked about like your experience and all of that, just to break the ice a little, and before we start with the questions that everybody wants to know, like the deliverability, the cadence of the emails, all of that, I do want to ask you, from your experience working with email marketing, what would you say are the three most common errors that brands and people themselves, like just individuals running a business, are doing, regardless of the size of the business?
They don't know the importance of personalization, like the special treatment they give to their customers, their leads, and their loyal customers. It's really important to actually have different strategies for all of them, because when you make people feel special, they will come back because that's the kind of treatment they deserve. They think they deserve, and we make them believe they deserve. And if they don't get them elsewhere, they're going to get it from us. Mm-hmm. So make a brand human.
Yeah.
Many emails and many brands out there feel very everybody. Like, that's not built for you, first of all. Second of all, that was maybe made by a machine. Right now that we have AI, many things feel made by machines, from the copy to the design. Yeah, everything. And third of all, proper segmentation. I am on many email lists when I have received 3 times the same email because they don't properly segment say people. So it's like, really, for me as an specialist, it's like, okay, this is a really big brand, and they send me three times the same email. Why? They are not targeting properly, they are not scaling properly, they are not doing the things as they should, because this will not only affect their deliverability at all, it will also let people know that they are not looking into it. Like, as I said, that they're being done by robots, and robots will make mistakes many times, because for most things as AI and stuff like that, you are the one making the orders, and a robot just executed. And that order can make the robot make mistakes. If you don't put an order, for example, like exclude this segment from this campaign, the robot is gonna send it as you specify it without any proper thing. So you need to build it properly. And even though I know that email marketing is done by humans, many people will not. Many people will believe it's done by machines. And when you get those mistakes, like sending 3 times the same email, people will believe it's done by a machine. And actually, the company does not care the quality of what they do. Because why do you get it 3 times? There's no mistake behind, there's nothing else. So that will decrease the reputation of a business, because that means the quality of their work may be equal to the quality of their products. And if they're not doing a proper quality assurance, you're really much like harming very much exponentially.
Yeah. And something I want to say that I think it's kind of obvious, but incredibly, so many businesses, especially smaller and medium businesses, don't pay attention to this. But I'm going to say something and tell me if you think the same thing, because you're a marketer, not just an email marketing specialist. I feel like you're a complete marketer because I know you, and we've been talking about marketing for a long time. But something that the brands, they don't see is that their email is their most important piece of real estate in their business, and that's because they own the list. And I've seen with some of my clients, their biggest launches, the times where they sold the most, it was through email, not through the web page, not through a sales page, not through ManyChat. It was through the email. And I think that's why this podcast to me is so important, because talking to someone who I know delivers great results is very special, especially if you run a small business and you're starting and you still don't know where to start from. This is a good starting point, I believe. But now for the people who are just getting started with email and they're just realizing that, oh, I really need to build my email list. What do you think are some of the most important things they have to have in mind when it comes to like a mailer, or what do they need to know, like a starter kit for someone just getting started with emails, which you say is a good one?
Yeah, I was going to tell you this actually, like a point that I think like your question is the perfect place to answer it. One of the things many people don't see is at the moment of starting sending emails, don't screw your domain reputation. What do I mean by that? Many brands, when they start, they only send exclusive things like get 20% off, X amount of free gift, stuff like that. All those words are really spammy. All those words will mark you to promotion, and you will never reach the inbox. If you don't get into the inbox, you're not getting the money. Your first email should be with really good value, but you should mention the promotion and everything at the bottom, because otherwise the algorithm will say like, okay, all the content they have, it's going to be like fully promotional. But when you educate the algorithm that you send emails with value-based content, and at the bottom you include a promotion, it's like the most important thing is starting at the top. The top means says to the algorithm what the email is going to be about. If the subject line and the start of the email start with a discount, everything the algorithm is going to see, the most important part, the thing that hooks people is going to be a discount. It's not going to be the content of your email. But when the content is the main priority, the algorithm will put like, okay, these people like want to sell, but the main priority is like putting content. So it's an important message because you're gonna get like value information from it aside from getting a promotion. But if you get a promotion right away, the spam works like literally. The algorithm is like spam, and it may not actually end up on spam, but it will end on promotion, which is equally as bad many times.
Yes, and I've seen that with some of my clients too. When we're just only sales, in the middle of a launch, and they just want to push the sell, even though you know all of the buzzwords that you need to avoid, you can't. There's no way, like if you want to talk about the price or you want to add a CTA with like a buy button or something, it will go straight to the promotion tab unless you do it really, really well. And for me, it takes like a lot of testing until it finally arrives in my primary inbox, which is really hard to do. And I guess that most brands, they don't know about this, and because they just want to throw things, down somebody else's throat, like, buy this, which I get it. I mean, you need to sell if you have a business. If you don't sell, you don't have a business. And we do marketing, and that's our job, is to make our clients money. But you need to have some strategy behind it. You cannot be sending people an email just to buy every single day, which so many companies are doing. and individuals as well. They're also doing that, and they need to take care, because it's like, I always say this to my clients, like, your email list is your baby. Take care of it, nurture it, like feed it. You want it to grow. You want them to be engaged. You want them to open your emails, because that's where the magic happens.
Exactly, but not only that, like many people have said with time that email marketing is dead. They are completely wrong. First of all, email marketing is very much the basis for sales nowadays.
Wait, I am going to
Like,
challenge you here. I'm not going to say email marketing is dead, but email marketing, the way it is being run right now, is going to be dead. And the same goes for copywriting and every other type of marketing strategy, I believe.
yes. Why so? Because many people has believed with time that in order for you to thrive in marketing, you need to just push sales, which is completely wrong. People subscribe to your email list, yes, because they want discounts. But at the same time, you need to remember that marketing, it's you create a need and you play psychologically with people. So even if people don't know they need that, you need to make them believe that they need that for any reason and that you're going to solve the problem with your product. But if you just say like clearance sale, you have X amount of credits, buy now, like those stuff are just to drive sales. You are not giving me the value for what. Why do I need your product? Why your product is good compared to others? Why it has value? You don't get nothing. Aside from that, when you get an email design that looks made by a granny or a kid using, I don't know, PowerPoint nowadays, like, dude, watch out. You need to go with the trends. The trends are minimalistic, which minimalism doesn't mean less is better. Minimalism is every single element in the email shine by its own.
Yeah,
Without
every
like
single element
taking
matters, and it has a role.
exactly.
Yes, exactly, for sure.
Yeah.
I believe I'm in the same boat with you right there, and I feel like, yeah, if you unlock a good angle, you can use it a few times, but like if you keep using it and using it, there will come a point where the people receiving the emails are going to go deaf to it, that they'll become deaf to it, because it no longer works, because you already used it time and time again, and people keep
They're
doing
gonna
it. It's businesses keep doing this, unless it's a business that's doing things good, and they have like a good marketing team, or they listen to the people. I believe that in those cases it doesn't happen, but in most cases, people, when they find like the winning formula, they just play and play and play and play, plug and play, and then at some point it won't work anymore, because it's just obvious.
Yeah, actually, like when you use the same time every single month, every single quarter of the year, the same strategies over and over and over and over and over again, people are gonna know you're a catch. Like people may seem idiot, but they're not idiots. Okay, so
Especially
you can play.
nowadays. Especially nowadays. I mean,
Yeah,
the people right now, we know what we're buying up. And I'm not talking about you and me, because we work in marketing, but people are savvier right now. The buyers are savvier right now. That's why we can't do these things. Also because it's not ethical.
first of all,
But something that you were saying is that the people, and as a copywriter, I believe the same in the sense that, maybe something worked today, which is amazing. Yeah, you use it as many times as you can, but like space it out, and don't
yeah,
overdo
like play
the
with it.
same thing.
Use it one
Exactly.
time, test other things. Don't just rush with the same thing because it worked. That means you're not thriving for money. You're desperate for money.
Hmm.
Like you don't have money hunger, which money hungers will be like, okay, the business wants to grow and it needs to grow. No, it's just like money is everything. It's the value of our business, and that's not it. The value of our business should be its community, its buyers, its non-buyers, which are still support for them, and every single piece of the enterprise always begins with the client. Even nowadays, with, for example, artists. Some artists are against hate, and that's perfect because hate is not tolerated. But artists know nowadays that the people that truly supports them are going to be for them, and they actually care for those fans. Nowadays, artists are more humanitarian, I may say, because they connect with their audiences. One example is like Sabrina Carpenter's tour, Short and Sweet. It's perfect. It went back in time and remember us. What is a good show? It has a storytelling. It's playful. It's marvelous. People is actually hooked from the beginning to the bottom. But if you just go there and play your instruments and do your things, people are gonna still go because they like your music. But at the same time, it's not gonna be like memorable. It's not gonna be an experience. The same thing happens with the Eras tour. And it's like the Taylor Swift effect, I may say it. Taylor Swift is a person that is known to be there for their fans.
And
So
she's a
the
fucking
last
great
tour,
marketer. I have to say that.
yeah, she's the mastermind. She's the
I don't know if
mastermind
it's
behind
her
all.
or it's her team, but they know marketing through and through.
So the thing is that she didn't have to promote like crazy a tour. She just said, "I'm gonna do the Eras tour. Every single location is sold out," and she just said it like, "I'm gonna do a tour." Adele is another example. Adele bring a concept nowadays that it's you don't need to move as an artist, but people need to come for you because they are actually fans, and that happens.
Yeah.
She sold out Munich, just staying in Munich, and she brought people from all places of the world. Las Vegas, it's completely sold out, and people is going just to Las Vegas. She's not going to move to Boston to X place. No, because she gave an entire experience in one place, the place that has every single thing of the experience. And at the same time, we can see it on videos on TikTok. When you are going to an Adele concert, you know that if people, that someone comes to you from security and tell you, you need to sit down. Adele herself has gone into the bodyguards and said, he can stand up. He paid for the show. He wants to enjoy the show.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot tell him to sit down. It's not possible. And people are like, wow, she really cares for her audience. That's the same thing marketers need to think about. You need to care for your audience. You
Yeah.
need to educate your audience. You need to tell your audience why to keep using your products, why to use them if they are not used to them, and what is the special trait for our product comparing to others. You may have a really good product, but a really shitty strategy, a really shitty hood and ankle. Your web page may not be distributed correctly in terms of copy, design, a good UI UX, or it can be just simple. It can be just a simple landing page, but if it's properly executed, it can make you millions of dollars.
Yeah, and something I want to say right there, and for everybody who has a business, please listen to this because every single client of mine did it, and I'm just tired of seeing people, just throw their dollars like it's nothing because in the end it's your business. The thing I believe that most entrepreneurs fail to do is to be patient. Sometimes they just want to launch and they want to launch and they want to launch yesterday, and I do understand that, but at the same time it's like you are paying money for your ads, for the resources, for the people working for you to have a successful launch. If you're patient enough, the launch is going to be way more successful than if you just like run against the clock. And because things like that don't come out well. And I understand that with marketing, you and I, we both know that you're always running against the clock because there's always something that comes along. And then, during now it's coming, get ready, Harol, get ready because November is coming and you know what that means. And if you're in marketing, we know what that means. But I mean it, like, especially in November it's a huge month. You've got like, you come out of Halloween, then you go into Thanksgiving, then no, or am I wrong? It's first Black Friday, then Cyber Monday,
No,
then Thanksgiving.
it already started. It
Yes,
already started. Like
it's starting
we have
already.
Halloween coming around.
And
We
then
have Halloween
Christmas,
coming
and
around.
it's great, it's wild, and everybody wants to launch something. That's why they need to prepare for that moment. I believe in time. They really need to prepare in time. But coming back to the
Not only,
emails,
yeah, not only time. Like everything starts from the strategy, and you know that because you are really good at strategies. Like
yeah,
if
that's
your
why you have to
strategy
plan ahead.
starts, yeah, if your strategy starts like just right away, I want sales and drive sales, and this is and get sales. Dude, believe me, you're not gonna sell because other brands are gonna do the same. Other brands are gonna be exactly the same. You first need to hype up your audience. You need to tell your audience with, I don't know, maybe early access. But on that early access emails, don't just talk about the early access. Talk about a special treatment. Oh, you have been selected for this. When someone hears that, they are like, oh my God, I'm special.
You know what? Now I know that you enjoy watching what some artists are doing. Have you seen? I don't remember who it is, but like right now I don't remember the name. But there are a few artists that are actually going through their social medias and they're choosing people as close friends. I think Taylor Swift did this. It's such an amazing move. And then
I can
it's
say
kind of
that
like the
actually
same
have happened
thing,
to
but
me.
it's like extrapolated to Instagram. But you can do the same through email as well by personalizing
Yeah, you can,
emails, by segmenting
like,
the
for
emails.
example, for some brands, I remember my first Black Friday. On my first Black Friday, the first year of work, girl, I was included in the strategy. The person that was working with me heard me, like the ideas I had. For the first time for that small business, we generated $1.5 million just because we weren't just sales. We were
Mic
giving
drop.
value content on them. And it was my first Black Friday. Like it was for me crazy. Like even the client sent a message saying like, "This is life changing for me because we have made our business grow throughout the year. It just has generated like $300,000, and it's Black Friday, and you generated $1.5 million for us. We can grow even more now. We have many opportunities." And everything started with the emails we sent to those people. We were preparing people throughout the year with content. Even on Black Friday, we sent content, and the very days of Black Friday, that's when promotions started. At first, we gave them content, we engaged them. If you just give promotions, people are not going to get engaged.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the things people don't know right now, and listen to me carefully, Klaviyo has a feature that, and many other ESPs are getting it, when you can exclude bot clicks and bot open rates. Most of your list right now can be bots, and your 60% open rate can be false.
Yes.
Your 1.x% click rate can be false, can be generated by false.
Do other mailers have this option, or only Klaviyo at the time?
No, I think that MailChimp has already included on it.
You have to show me where that is.
It's definitely, like I know that because I have been implementing that for different brands I'm working with. But for a brand, I remember we were having like 6% click rate, but a purchase rate of 0.50%. So you realize why people are clicking and not shopping. And when we exclude the bots, it was 1.50%
Wow,
click rate
that's big.
and 0.58% place order rate, which makes sense because it means half of the people that click ended up purchasing. That's the funnel. That's how it works. 60% open, 2% click, and 1% purchase. That's how things work. That's exactly how things work.
That's a real big difference right there. Now, before we go into the more technical questions, because I have a few, I do want to ask you something for you. And this, of course, will depend whether we're talking e-commerce or services. But, and we can go right there after that, or in the middle of the question, however you want to address it. I want to ask you, what does the perfect, and of course, this is very generalist, I know, but for the people listening who are not familiar with emails, what is the perfect email strategy for you, or something that you saw this worked like a charm, for example?
Like in general?
Yes, in general. Or you can come up with a dream client if you wish.
Well, I told you this strategy the last time. The strategies that address mistakes have to work exponentially, like amazingly for me.
Can you explain more about that? I know all about it, but the public needs to know.
For example,
and you know what? Wait. It works like a charm. So thank you. He saved my ass.
It works. Like I don't know why, but people actually connect with that.
Can you give the people listening an example of how this will work? What do you mean by mistake? Addressing mistakes.
Like you send an email of a survey or a promotional campaign, for example, and the survey has the wrong survey link, or the promotional email has the wrong link, or the discount code is not applied. Then you send another email saying like, you know what, we messed up, or our intern messed up, or you know what, it just slips our mind. Yeah, or you know what, it just slipped our mind because we were so busy launching this new product or something like that. People love that kind of things. It's funny. First of all, it's funny. Second of all, it shows up that everything's made by humans. Everything is human based.
And we make mistakes. We're not bots.
Exactly.
Well,
and the third of all, and the most important of this is like the real effect of nostalgia. Like when you give people this feeling, like you know what? I remember my first day at work when I fucked it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people remember that moment.
Yeah, and something else that I want to add that I implemented not long ago was when you gave me that idea, because I effed up. It was amazing because I did that, and then I was like, oh, so we fucked up, but because of that, here's a special discount just because we fucked up. and it worked really well. And it seems real because it was actually real. Like I made a mistake. It is
Yeah,
normal,
like
and
it
I'm
just
not
slipped
afraid
your
to say it.
mind.
It's
So
normal. People took it super finely. Like it surprised me, but at the same time, it doesn't surprise me because it shows that you're human, that you make mistakes, and you're not perfect. And at the same time, it's like, hey, I fucked up. Here's an extra discount just because I fucked up. Sorry.
exactly, like you know what? We also screwed up. It happens.
Yeah.
Like
Why
it
not?
happens.
Now, I do want to
But
ask you. Yeah, you were saying. Continue.
oh yeah, I was just like saying like, but people remember those moments. I remember one of the best feelings when I sent that strategy for the first time and it works was when I like someone told me, hey, we just received this email, and it was a person saying, you know what, I was not hooked with your brand, but this email that like this content remembered me of my first day of work when I fucked it up. And I was so scared of being fired at that moment that I know that the person that made this mistake may be feeling that way. And for you to not fire that person, I'm going to purchase for the first time for this brand. And I will become a loyal customer if that person still works with you. And I hope that person still does because I really connected with this and I love it. And people really like that. Like they
Yeah.
are fascinated by that strategy.
Because people want to buy from people, and people want to buy from
Yeah,
businesses that care about their people.
exactly. I was going to say that people nowadays are so into like that they're feeling so many empathy that if for example that email does not perform good, someone may be fired of course. If you gave them the opportunity to like foment that issue, people are going to be like, you know what, I was also this person once and maybe it didn't work out and I was fired, so I want this person to not be fired. And they purchase and they connect with the brand because they're like, mistakes happen, and sometimes they're going to make another mistake and they're going to be sending another apologetic email and they like it.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. A brand that learns how to recognize their mistakes is a brand that is able and accessible to change. Therefore, they're accessible to growth. And they're not only going to grow for the brand, but also for their community and their people. And that's actually what makes a brand special. Nowadays, brands that are really into humanism, that they connect with people, like that they send free gifts to people, like not free gifts, like they send samples of their products to people because they cannot afford it. Those are brands that people are actually getting because they know that there are brands that are going to be caring for other people, and it's not going to be just and it's not going to be just money to make someone rich. It's going to be
Yes.
money to at the end start helping others,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
why people
a
buy
primary
from
fundamental nowadays.
carbon neutral brands, cruelty free brands, stuff like that. People actually care about it. So that is something, and also investors. I think I didn't tell you this before, but I used to work at S&P Global, and one of the things that we had in the platform, within the content of the platform, for the investors who bought the, let's say the subscription, they had the opportunity to choose brands that were that cared about the environment, that cared about human rights and stuff like that. And the youngest generations of investors were actually using that part of the platform. So that was interesting. So it's not only the consumers choosing to buy from ethical brands, but also people who are investing. I'm not saying everybody does, but it is starting to happen. This is a shift because, of course, there's a generational change right now occurring in the economy, and the younger generations do care about this. So this is something that people need to have in mind. But now, talking about that, I don't want to keep it too long, because I want this to be like super short and sweet and like helpful to people. I do want to ask
There
you.
is to talk a lot.
Yeah, both you and I, we don't stop. We're always messaging each other like, "Hey, how you doing?" And it's like a podcast
Literally.
in itself. But no,
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about deliverability because that's like, I feel like that's kind of like your cup of tea. So if you could tell us about deliverability, what that is for people who don't know, and how to improve it for those who do know and have their own list.
Well, I can say deliverability is like my extra because not many people actually knows about deliverability nowadays. First of all, we need to understand what is deliverability, and I have explained it to you. So I wanna hear also from you. For you, what is deliverability?
For me, it's all about landing in the inbox, like the primary inbox, not having your email land in the promotion or especially the spam. section. That's how I would say it in like a very short way. But there's too many things that go into deliverability. But for me, it's just I want my email to land where people read it.
Email deliverability is the health of our domain. As you know, every single domain, like for example, I don't know, schemes.com, I don't know. I'm giving a random example.
Yeah.
All those domains have a reputation, such as a credit score. It goes from bad to perfect to excellent.
Wait, we're getting a little technical here. So for the people who don't know, well, a domain, I think if you're listening to the podcast, you should know what a domain is. It's like the .com.
Yeah, not like the name of the business. I can may say like the ID of your business.
Mm-hmm.
It's what people are gonna remember when you have an email domain. Is the things people are gonna get stuck with. If you have like a simple domain, people are gonna remember it. If you have a really long domain, people are not gonna remember it at all. Literally, like at all. You just need to keep in mind that your domain, your .com, to make it simple, it's your window to the world, the window of your business to the world. That's how people are gonna. That's your presentation card. That's the word I was looking for. But that presentation card has a health behind. And email deliverability is the heart. Like the deliverability is the heart of it. In the terms of email, like speaking of email, why is the heart of it? If you don't have a good email deliverability and your domain doesn't have a good reputation among senders, you're gonna fall into spam. And there are chances when even your emails are gonna be accountable as fraudulent content, phishing content, and stuff like that. They are like that? No, but your reputation is so bad that who is gonna believe in you? It's like that's why I said like a credit score. When you have a really bad credit score, no bank is gonna lend you money because who is gonna believe that you're gonna be able to pay it? In this case, on email deliverability, it's the trust an algorithm has from a like mailer domain that your email is not going to give a bad experience to people.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they do accept it, they are allowing something that is bad, and they don't want that. They also want to bring the best experience for people to actually get it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and I'm saying fortunately because it's been getting wild the last few years. So luckily, email services now are a bit more, and I'm saying luckily as a consumer and also as an email copywriter, because and I guess for you too, because of that, since people have been sending so many emails, and there's also scams as well, which is something very important that people need to be aware of, and phishing and all of that. Now there's too many like bad words, keywords, stuff that it reads before it even lands on your email, and that's great because it is there to protect the consumer. It is there to protect the recipient, and that is perfectly fine for me. And I'm glad that it is happening, but it is something to have in mind. Like you can just write anything and anything and everything you want in an email. And even if it's like, let's say your email is an entire photo with text, but it's a photo. I think nowadays you can read it, right?
Yeah. Do you know how they read it? It comes on your alt text.
Yeah.
That's the important part of an alt text and email. It's actually like part of the deliverability. The alt text is the presentation you have for your image. It's how the algorithm is going to analyze it. They can analyze the image and like understand certain elements of it, but if you put an alt text, the algorithm is going to focus on those words. Even if you have a main banner that says "shop now," flash sale, or something like that, and your banner talks about other things, like the alt text talks about other things that are on the banner because they need to be on the banner. The algorithm is going to like analyze that part because the alt text is going to be the thing they're going to read first. On HTML coding, when you code an email in HTML, it's important to have an alt text because that's the thing they're going to read. That's the piece of code that you are you're making available for the algorithm to understand. And they don't need they don't have the necessity to understand the entire image.
Right.
Because they trust what the alt text has.
Yeah, and for deliverability, what would you say are the most important things you need to have? Like if you had like a checklist to have your email, let's say, whitelisted in some way, what would you say those would be?
Like to have an email whitelisted at all?
Yes, like for deliverability itself, like if you had to create a checklist, your Harol's checklist for deliverability, what would that look like?
It will be a good segmentation. Mm-hmm. Like you need to segment it properly between engaged and unengaged people and not targeting your buyers all the time. Like I know when I have worked with brands that send emails, for example, on a daily basis and they fuck it up because it's on a daily basis, like 2 times a day, dude. Come on, and 3 times on special sales. I'm getting tired of it.
Even once,
And
I'm gonna say even once, unless it's a launch and it lasts 5 days.
yeah, and it's like one thing I have done with brands, and it has worked perfectly because I know and understand deliverability. It's like you send so many campaigns on a special sale. Algorithms are trained for that. They understand that okay, this isn't a special day, so it's they have like the liberty, like oh, you have the freedom to do that just on these days. But doing that on a daily basis, even though when there's not a special day behind, dude, that's a no-no. People need to breathe. It's like when you want to have this special moment with your partners. They need to be special for a reason. They are moments that are going to be memorable. Otherwise, they're just going to it's going to become a routine. It's going to be something that you do on a daily basis, and you're going to get bored. You're going to be like, what's wrong with this person? What is it thinking? The same thing happens with emails. If you send email to a person on a daily basis, people are going to be like, what happened if they're in a meeting and then their phone started like buzzing around? And what it is? It's an email. They get home and they get another one. People are going to be like, dude, let me be. Like, I have to be busy. I'm recently going to check my email. So come on, this is a spam.
And don't forget another thing too. It's like, imagine people knocking your door saying like, do you want to buy this from me? Do you want to buy this from me? Do you want to buy? And it's not just you, it's you and 10 other, I'm not even saying 10, 15, 20, 13 other brands, especially if you were talking in the US, which emails are more common. So it's not just your brand, it is your competition as well, and indirect or direct, and then things that have nothing to do probably with selling. It's your social medias, your notifications. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with things that it is so hard to catch people's attention because the attention span has shortened so much that if you keep bombarding people with emails all the time, then there will come a point where that beautiful list that you had nurtured and once taken care of, who opened your emails because they knew that you were going to give them something in return, whether that was value or a really good offer. Now they know that you'll always be there. It's like, you know what I like to compare it with? You know, you have a dog who's always there for you, and you know that the dog is going to be there. And there's a cat who strategically chooses when to give its attention to you. The same happens with those type of emails. Like when the cat sits on you, you're like, oh, Jonathan, I'm not moving. And then when the dog comes, it's like, oh, it's the dog again. I know he's going to be back anytime soon. And if you're that person, if you're the dog consistently going like, hey, buy from me, guess what? You're going to bore the shit out of them and they're not going to buy from you because you're no longer special. You're no longer exclusive. And they know that they can always get 10% off, 20% off, or 5% off, whatever your ongoing offer is.
Yeah, it's like, just as a simple example, in case people haven't gotten yet, which I think at this point they should. It's like when you're dating someone and you're in this process of meeting that person, and that person is texting you every single hour of the day. Every single minute. What are you doing? I'm in the bathroom. What are you doing? I'm showering. And they start calling and sending messages because you don't answer. Dude, what do you think? Like the person watching this, I just wanna ask you this question. What do you think when someone do that to you? And put in the comments, like, how do you feel? Now, put that same feeling into someone who's sending you text messages and emails as a strategy just twice a day. Morning and evening, for example. Just to try and get you to purchase, darling, you're not needy. You're crazy.
And it's not just emails, and we're not stopping there now with ManyChat. Have you seen what's going on there? All of a sudden, social media, it's just comment or whatever, and I'll send you this, and it's just trying to sell, which is okay. I mean, we work with marketing. Hey, we're just two marketers talking about marketing, but we're complaining about how it's being run because the thing is, they are numbing people. People are not going to buy because of this, because it is so overused that only those who use it strategically will get the buyer.
Yeah, completely agree.
And now I want to ask you something. This is a question that I have here written down. So for deliverability and not tiring people out with a consistent offer and emails and everything, it's because it's just not the email, it's every other channel, which is something that I do want to get to. How about the cadence? Like, what do you say is a good cadence for e-commerce and a good cadence for, let's say, services? I'm going to give you an example for most people listening here. most of the people who own a service and they listen to my podcast, they either have an e-commerce brand, like a small e-commerce brand, or they are coaches. Could be a fitness coach, could be a business coach, anything. What would you say is a good cadence for these two different buyer personas? It's a loaded question, I know, because it depends on
Yeah,
so many things.
regardless of the age, people wants to have a time to breathe and just enjoy their lives. You can send emails uh, 2 times a weekday and on the weekend, or 3 times a week, and then one of the weekdays, or on a special lunch or something, like you send Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But give a period of time, at least 24 or 48 hours. I recommend 48 hours at least, for people to breathe, for people to think in other things. And once they get a problem and that they can solve and your product is the solution, boom, that's when they get the solution. But otherwise, if they're getting on a daily basis an email like trying to explain how this is the solution, it's not gonna be a solution for them. It's gonna be another problem because you are just bothering them and taking their time. So one of the things I really love to do, it's thinking as a customer. Me as a customer, what do I like to get? How many emails I like to get? And especially I will be like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then maybe Saturday, Sunday, and then the next week, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, Sunday. But you give me time to breathe. You give me time to think on other things, maybe look at other brands. And when I'm not convinced of the other brands, then is when I get convinced of you. Then's when you come like my salvation, like the thing I've been looking for my entire life, and I couldn't have get a hold on it. And then I want you.
Yeah, for sure. And that is something that brings me to the next question that I had, because you always talk about the importance of having a multi-channel strategy. And I believe that this fits right in there because it's also part of the cadence. It's also because maybe today you're busy on emails, you're active on emails, and tomorrow you're busy or you're active somewhere else. Maybe it's just the SMS or it's another channel. So what's your experience with multi-channel strategies?
It's definitely important nowadays. Many people are not going to convert through email, but they're going to convert to SMS. An email, for me at least nowadays, it's an educational space. Meanwhile, SMS is that simple space when you send people to the click, purchase, and that's all. Click, purchase, and that's all. So you can send an educational email with a promotion, for example, for someone to make a purchase. But that person read the entire email and at the end of reading it doesn't have the time to purchase. 1 hour later, boom, the reminder, you got to purchase. And people are going to be like, oh yeah, I forgot. And at that moment, they purchase. SMS has bigger conversions than emails because of the simplicity of how it works. You put the copy with a link, people click the link and they purchase. For an email, we include more content, infographics, images, GIF, we play with it. Like, it's playful. But email is that source when you have the freedom to give all the value content available. Use it properly. You can send promotions of emails, definitely. But at the same time, nurture your list with proper content. As I've been saying all the time, show to people the difference of your products and the quality of your products. Show why you are special among all the other brands outside that may do the same for you. And if they don't convert with that email, that's when SMS come from. And they retarget people, and those retargets lead to purchases. I can give you an example. Yesterday, I did a launch for a new product. 24 hours later, email and SMS has generated $2,000. It's a new product. They have not been sending an email or SMS. The pop-up has an excellent performance. The email has a really good performance. Like, I was able to re-engage people, and the open rates of those campaigns are 75%. Click rate of 5%. AOP growing time with time, like hour per hour. AOP is growing. The flows are converting, but at the same time, if they don't have time for the flows, that's when our SMS come from, and our SMSs made a chunk amount of money. Like, they have made a lot. People are getting convinced by a good strategy combining multi-channel. When we explain to people why our product's important, and then if they forget, you know what, you can push it now, push it here. Yeah, even now I'm building an SMS for the launch of this product, like giving away 20% off. And even though it's late, and it's recommended to send at least at 9 p.m., which is right now, so that SMS should go out right now. I know that it's going to convert, and I'm sure that it's going to convert. It doesn't matter the hour. What it matters is the angle. And we sent an email before. So right now it's time for the SMS to retarget everyone who hasn't read the email.
I love that.
You just need to play with it. You just need to play with it. That's what the
Test.
life cycle comes for.
Yeah, and another thing that you remind me of with this is just test. I mean, people are too scared of trying new things because they want to do what they know works, which is amazing. Maybe it works for your competitors, which is great. You need to keep an eye on your competitors, but sometimes thinking outside the box really, really helps. And that's when maybe you unlock something that works for your business. And I feel like business owners need to be a bit less worried or scared about trying new things, because that's what maybe separating your business from your competition, and that could be pretty much what is making your content work better than someone else's, because you're doing something different. Because nowadays everyone and their mother, they're doing the same thing, they all sound the same, they all sell the same things. And now I'm talking about that, and considering when this podcast is coming out, which is probably this weekend, and as we're getting closer to Halloween, are there any Harold tips? I know that you have so many good tips over X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. What are some tips that you want to give people, that we want to leave people before we close this interview? That was because I feel like it is so jam packed with knowledge and technical things that we need to do a part two. We need to do it. But
Definitely.
before we go, I do want to ask you, like, what are some tips you want to leave people considering the dates that are coming? So, because it's one after the other. We have Halloween, we have Thanksgiving, we have Black Friday,
Bunch
Cyber
of things.
Monday. So give us the tea.
Do you know that there's even Canadian Thanksgiving?
Yeah, and I used it and it
Like-
worked amazingly because my client is from Canada, so it worked really well.
Exactly. So one of the things I recommend to people right now that we are in a holiday season, check your strategy. Build a really good strategy, but not only focus on sales. Focus on why these holidays are important. On Christmas, of course, you try to sell like the best gift guide for people to get their gift. But you can also need to remember that it's time to spend with the family. You need to be human. You need to send, even if it's a letter coming from a co-founder or something, or an invented person, just a message from a brand saying Merry Christmas without any single type of promotional content will make people hurt. Like, make the difference in a sea of fishes that all the fishes are hungry for the same food. Everyone is going to go in a business for money. Show to people that you are not only there for money, because money is of course important to keep your business, but you are also there for others. What is the mission and the values of your brand? You need to explain that perfectly. Your brand is the exact same image of who you are. For you as a founder or a co-founder, how much do you care of your brand? It will impact on the image of how much do you care on a daily basis. What are your values as well? So try to show those personal values into people. Right now, I've been participating, and on many, many, many launches. They have been such a success, and I am so happy because those businesses, when I gave them this information, they are like, you know what? I want to send emails from the founder. I want to send emails from founders. I want to send these letters to others. Why? And they were really, 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 really happy with that because they put their shoes on that strategy, and they became part of the process. Like the co-founders that have been working with me right now, they're really happy. And I'm working with a copywriter, of course, and not the one writing. I want to attribute the honor to every single person. The copywriting I'm working, it's really good. You, of course, Mechi, you're a mastermind of copywriting. You are someone beyond. But it's a copywriter that is close to my age, and it's a really good copywriter. And on the process, I've been with the clients talking, and they're like, it's good. But one of the things that comes the most, understand yourself as well. And if you're an agency and you're working with others, understand who you're working with. Mechi and the people right now I'm working with, they understand that. And that makes a difference because we are transmitting the message that someone wants to transmit. We're not transmitting something that it's out of the brand. Your brand comes from somewhere. A good, like the best advice is right now that we're going to holiday season. The best advice I can give you to anyone that is watching this is look for your strategy and remember that your brand shows up the core values on the person or the people behind it. So don't just focus on money. Remember why you build the brand. Outside from, of course, a better future, but that brand has a mission and has values that it wants to keep up for people. Show that on your emails. Your emails You can talk about that. You can talk about this month, or I don't know, like this year, a year recap at the end of the year, talking about how this year has been for the brand, the challenges that you had to face and you solved them, and at the same time attribute and be thankful to your audience, because audience are sometimes, most of the time, I can say, looking for that, looking for that appreciation. They are giving you their time. They are giving you their money. Be thankful. A thankful is not just a discount. A thanks that comes from the heart comes from a letter. And if you just send message from the founders, if you just show this appreciation, show this humanity behind the brand, that will make the difference. I know that you can talk about that. Lately, you have been making really good things, and I know that because you have shown me a little bit like your information behind the creation of that specific copy. You have told me like, yeah, I have this idea, and this is what I have built, and you can see in numbers. Like we have data that back up these things. A human sending an email doesn't mean it's going to be just an image with promotions and that's all. A human building an email comes from the copyright till the final product, even the audience you target, because everything is made for someone specifically. Target it properly, send the things properly, and at the same time, show why your brand is special. I have said this all the podcasts, but it's the most important part. Show why your brand is special.
That's why branding is so important. And I'm not a brand specialist, but I always put the brand on top of everything because the brand comes first, because you're looking at the business long term. So is my business going to last? Is it going, because think of big companies, not that I like it, but let's say Coca-Cola. That's a great example of good branding. Like it's been there for ages and it doesn't try to sell you the Coke. It's just they're talking about family, for example. And the same happens with every other big brand. They care more about the brand than the sales, and the sales are just happening because the people trust the brand only. And that's what happens with creators nowadays. I mean, you look at Mr. Beast and what he does, and whatever he throws out, people go and buy it because he's Mr. Beast. And he also has this thing that you talk about with the values and Beast philanthropy and stuff like that. And that is what people like, and that is why people buy from brands that show that they care.
Totally. And you too. Like we know brands that make millions of dollars, but even inside their company they are shitty. And we know other brands that may be bigger than other brands, but internally they are built of respect, they are built of humanism and other things. And those brands are the ones that are thriving and people are actually liking it. And you can see them all around. You don't even need to advertise them a lot to get sales. The advertisement is just their image. It's just what they do. It's just what makes them special. Just remember that. I remember once I sent an email and someone was like, this email made me feel like I was talking with my granny again. And even though she's gone, that this brings me happy memories. And when you get those responses back, you're my darling. That's pretty much what I wanted to bring up. Like, just put this example. If you have a brand that cares about, I don't know, mothers, and maybe a mother is not going through a good moment, and you send a support message using the brand, like coming from a founder or someone important on the brand, like saying, like, you as a mom are someone special or someone who brings life, literally. You can do this. Like, you're going to make it. They're going to connect with your brand, and they're always going to remember your brand as a brand that supports their audience. So build up those connections, build those things. Email and SMS marketing are not just about sending a bunch of stuff, bunch of promotions, bunch of emails that may be good or maybe shitty. They are about content.
It's all about like the idiom that goes along the lines of put your money where your mouth is, pretty much. Harol, I don't want to take much of your time. So before we leave you, is there anything else I didn't ask you that you would like to address?
If you're working in marketing or you have a brand, just be yourself. Enjoy it. Because if you enjoy it, people are going to enjoy it too. Exactly. People can tell when you are doing things because you like it or because you're forced. Just do the things you like. Try as many A/B tests as you want. Of course, with a purpose. No, everything needs to have its purpose. But try it. If you think it's not going to work with your audience, like a silly subject line, try it. If it doesn't, well, you learn that it doesn't. But you need to enjoy it. Brands connect with people. But why they connect? Because it was built by people for people, not by people for money. I mean, that's like the best summarized way I can give the last advice.
I love it. I love it. I couldn't say it better. Just, yeah, people buy from people. Don't talk, like, don't don't speak like a robot. Don't speak like anybody else. Don't speak like a business. Yeah, be real, be human in the end. So, Harold, where can everybody find you? Pimp yourself out. This is the time where you just drop everything. I'm still gonna put everything below. So if you wanna follow him, where can people know more about you?
Mostly I'm posting on Twitter, like playing around with Twitter. I like to play around with platforms. But you can find me on LinkedIn. Like work related, it's right now mostly Twitter. On LinkedIn, you just can't find my experience. You can not find anything else around it. Like just I don't post anything on LinkedIn. And then it's my Instagram, but on Instagram, I post most of my daily life. So everything work related to contact can be LinkedIn or Twitter.
I'm gonna leave the links below for everyone to go follow you and learn from you because you're always posting on email deliverability and tips and everything. I think you post like how many times are you posting right now? A day.
15 times a day.
What?
15 times a day.
15 times a day from a freaking specialist. Go follow him. You're gonna learn a lot. Harold, thank you for coming to the podcast. See you next time. Next time we'll be doing some live things.
No, thank you for inviting me here, actually.
Harold, thank you so much for coming. It was amazing. It was long overdue, but it finally happened and it won't be the last time. Hey, if you're still listening to this, subscribe, give me a like if you find this helpful because it helps me a lot. And see you next time.
Don't forget it. Like she's amazing and she has a special guest. So just learn from her. She is amazing, the best copywriter I have encountered. And I know many copywriters that are really good.
Yeah, you're saying that because you're my friend. Come on.
No, I know many copywriters, but copywriters that are human, like put their humanism in the brand. I can say you're the very best.
Really?
Yeah, I know copywriters
Wait,
that may really. I mean copywriters that
from
may.
you. This is something I do want to say, coming from you, because you're a freaking good email marketer. For me, that's like, I need to put it somewhere. Like, say it again. No, just kidding. Coming from someone like you, who I really think you're I would say the best marketer, email marketer I've worked with. That means a lot to me. So I'm like, oh, I want to put it somewhere. Like, please say it again. But like, it's a joke.
No, it's like it's for real. And I know many copywriters, and some of them may be watching this. And to them, I can say every single person I work, I identify their special traits. Your traits, your special trait. What makes you special, as a copywriter? You put your humanism in every single copy you do. And I know other copywriters who are definitely amazing at storytelling, strategies, building messages to people to connect with. But in your case, every single copy I have read from you, it's relatable when you tell stories. And I know that by a fact because you have built courses like like improve yourself courses and stuff like that. So you subconsciously put that into your emails. Like when you share a message, it feels like it's from experience. Like you can relate with that. So
Yeah.
so you build emails with the heart. And
Yeah,
to my
that's
friends who are also copywriters, I can say you have every single of you have a special trait. If you come to me, I can tell you're a special trait,
yeah. But you know
and I
what
value
that
everything.
is? Because I want to work with brands that I feel like I would buy from them because I want to be I'd like to write for myself. I want to be their target audience. So it's easier to write for you than to write for I don't know, if I had to write copy for a plumber. I did it once. And I remember he was a plumber and his sales were stagnant and I created a five email strategy and he was booked out but for like 7 months straight. But I hated that. That didn't sound like me at all because I'm just like I don't care about like a plumber services is like this is so boring, but it worked. But in the end, it's just that just people buy from people. But thank
Exactly.
you, yeah. But thank you again for coming and for the people listening. Thank you
No,
for
thank
staying. There will be
definitely. Like,
more.
thank you,
You'll see
thank you so
more of
much for the
him.
opportunity.
Yeah, you'll be
I'll
seeing
be
more.
here around. I'll be here around. And as I said, like you said, people buy from people. And to my copywriter friends out there, um, every copywriter can learn from another one because every single one has a special way to write copy. I know that. I learned it with time. So if you want to learn someone who understands target audiences that are from people who feel a lot of empathy, Mechi is your person. But if you want to connect with your audience from the heart, once again, I will always think of Mechi first. So thank you so much for inviting me. As you said, I'll be around. Any questions you may have, you can leave it in the comments. You can leave it below.
Okay, thank you so much, Harold, for being here. See you next time, and don't forget to subscribe, all of that jazz. Mwah.